But the shit that he stepped in that I'm talking about is the Jeffrey Epstein list, the Trump pedophiles. Donald Trump was in an interview. It was released yesterday with Lex Friedman. Lex Friedman's really fucking dry and boring. I wouldn't want to be interviewed by the guy because it would be so such a horrible experience. But Donald Trump did get interviewed by Lex Friedman because Donald Trump is a whore and he has to do every single interview he possibly can right now because he can't afford to do rallies. He can't afford to do bus tours. He can't afford to actually go do retail politics. And he's forcing the couch fucker to go do the retail politics for him. And that is failing, crashing into the fucking earth. Lex Friedman, even though it was light-footed and he really didn't get to the heart of the issue, he did ask him about Epstein's client list. And Donald Trump drones on and on and on about an island. He can't stop talking about an island. And Lex Friedman pushes just a smidge. And Donald Trump, not only does he say that if he's elected, just elect me president, and I'll make sure that the Epstein client list is released, and you know that I was on the island. But he also says that he wasn't on the island, which I think is significant. And the reason why I believe that Donald Trump saying out loud several times into the microphone to make sure everyone can understand that he wasn't on the island is important. And the reason why it's important is because there's one candidate that there's no question whether that candidate was on the Jeffrey Epstein's island. There's no question whether that person was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. That person was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, was on Jeffrey Epstein's call list, was in Jeffrey Epstein's voicemail in the middle of the night. There's one candidate on the ballot for President of the United States that was not leaving Jeffrey Epstein voicemails at 3 a.m. Kamala Harris doesn't have to sit and take questioning whether she was on a plane or on an island. Donald Trump does. The reason why is because there's more pictures with Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump next to each other than Donald Trump and Melania. Where is Melania, by the way? Where is she? Anybody know? Anybody checked on her lately? Just asking. Just asking these questions. These are just questions that we should be asking. Parties, plane rides, phone calls, voicemails. Jeffrey Epstein had Donald Trump's contact information and had 14 phone numbers. 14 phone numbers for Donald Trump. 14. Not 4, not 1. 14. Speed dial. Remember speed dial? You remember speed dial? You'd have like 5, 10 numbers. You could just push the fucking button. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop. Bam. Connected. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? I don't know. And this absolute ridiculous imagery of Donald Trump saying, hey, if I'm elected president, I'll go ahead and release the Jeffrey Epstein files, when this dude was in Jeffrey Epstein's circle. In the interview, he says Jeffrey Epstein was a good salesman. That's the reason why so many people were attracted to hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, because he was a good salesman. He was a hale and hearty type of guy, Donald Trump says. And he had great assets. Great assets. He had these fantastic assets. He had an island. He had an island. I guess the question really isn't, did Donald Trump go to Jeffrey Epstein's island? Because I don't know in the near future if we'll ever know that. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think the President of the United States has the ability just to ping, release Jeffrey Epstein's files. I mean, maybe not. I don't know if that's on like the top of the list that I want to have done as the President of the United States takes office. I'm not really sure. I mean, yeah, would it be nice to know transparency of who's the fucking scumbag still running around out there who were raping little girls on Jeffrey Epstein's island? Yeah, maybe. And to the victims, that's probably really fucking important. Maybe not, though. I mean, maybe we're getting out in front of our skis here, right? Maybe it's bad for the victims to have to relive this stuff all over the press, all over the media, all over the public, right? So I don't know if that's the actual question, whether the President of the United States will somehow release the Epstein files so we have the comfort of knowing. The real question is, do you believe Donald Trump when he says he was never on Jeffrey Epstein's island? That's the question. Do you believe Donald Trump? That's the question. Did you believe if Donald Trump said, I grab him by the pussy, they just let you do it. They just let you do it. And then he's an adjudicated rapist. He literally is an adjudicated rapist. And the rape that he is adjudicated for and defamed E. Jean Carroll for is grabbing her by the pussy, touching her with his fucking hands. Do you believe Donald Trump? That's it. That's the question. That's the question that we have to answer in November. That's the question that you're going to have to answer for later on in life when those Epstein files do come to light. And it is shown that Donald Trump not only was on that island once, but on several occasions. Are you okay with that? Are you just going to take his word for it? Not only that he would release the files that he's president, but he says, because we know that's a fucking lie. You know, him releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files, if he becomes president, is a fucking lie. That's a fucking lie. And if you want proof of it, I'll give you the 2 more weeks, we'll have infrastructure. 2 more weeks, we'll have a fucking healthcare plan. 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more fucking weeks. You talk about broken promises. But here we are. It's September 4th. We're like 2 months away. 2 months away from this election. And Donald Trump can't help but talk about Jeffrey Epstein's island in an interview. And it becomes relevant to the electorate. The media has not been covering Jeffrey Epstein's relationship with Donald Trump and Donald Trump's infatuation with Jeffrey Epstein. I wonder what it could have been. He had great assets. They were fantastic assets. He had an island and a plane. He would fly you there. But I didn't go there, I promise. I swear. Cross my heart and hope to die. I did not go to Jeffrey Epstein's island 14 times. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, there's a lot of Democrats on that list. So fucking what? Release that shit then, if that's what you want to do. But again, do we really just want to throw this thing out in public? Because on the other end of the Epstein list, of the client list, of the powerful people that are on that list that went to that island, And you know what the hell they did on that island. You know what the hell they did on that island. On the other side of that list, there's a whole list of victims. Can you imagine the trauma that is associated with being taken to an island, isolated? To be used as a fucking blow-up doll for rich and powerful people to live out their sick, demented fantasies. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth reliving all that stuff for those victims in the media. Maybe that's the reason why they kept it under wraps to begin with. Who knows? But there's one thing clear here, is that Donald Trump is now on record saying out loud with his fucking mouth into a microphone several fucking times, by the way, that not only did Jeffrey Epstein have a great island, and that was the attraction to Jeffrey Epstein. I wonder what it was about the island again. It's almost like Donald Trump knew who the fuck Jeffrey Epstein was and what he was doing on the island. And in his fucking Palm Beach house, and in his fucking apartment in New York City. I wonder if Donald Trump knew what Jeffrey Epstein was up to. Yeah, give me a fucking break. Because that's the one thing MAGA always says. That's the one thing they always fucking say. That's their defense. Every time. And I'll give you their defense. And the reason why is because you need to know what their defense is. Their defense is, well, Donald Trump didn't know Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. Didn't know he was running some underage sex trafficking ring. Had no idea. And then when Donald Trump found out, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. It's a lie. That's a lie. Donald Trump knew the whole time. In this interview, you can tell he knew because he knows exactly how Jeffrey Epstein roped in a lot of these rich, powerful people into his circle. The island. So the question is, do you trust Donald Trump? And do you trust what the fuck he says? Because I got to tell you, whenever I hear Donald Trump speak, I start at he's lying. Like, that's where I start. And it's much easier if you start there. I mean, the motherfucker's like a broken clock. Every once in a while, he runs headfirst into the truth, right? He just does. Every once in a while. But most of the time, when you're listening to Donald Trump and he's saying something, especially if he's saying something that he wants to make sure everyone knows what his position is, you know, you got to start with he's lying. He's not telling the fucking truth. He's full of fucking shit. So I'm going to show this interview, or parts of this interview with Lex Friedman. In particular, the parts about Jeffrey Epstein and his island. We're also going to, I'm going to show you a clip about him talking about communism or some shit. I don't know. This country is going to hell in a handbasket if Kamala's elected. There'll be communism everywhere. Communism everywhere. Well, apparently people like communism. I mean, for those of you out there that are still believing the polls and believing the media will have you believe that, yes, Kamala Harris has pulled ahead in a lot of these battleground states, but it's still a horse race. It's so close. It's so close. Is it? Is it? Is this race that close? Is this presidential race that close? I don't think it is. Kamala Harris and her campaign has now pledged to give $20 million. Let me say this again, $20 million she's going to give to down ballot races. Let me tell you something about a presidential campaign. Let me give you a little bit of insight. A presidential campaign is run on money. See, they need money to do a campaign. Buses, planes, events, staff. I mean, it's expensive to run for president in the United States. It's fucking expensive. It's also expensive to run for United States Senate. It can be really expensive to run for U.S. Congress, depending on which district you're in and who you're up against and what battleground state you may be in. Kamala Harris is going to give $20 million to down ballot races, which that's how it works in elections. So if you give to a higher candidate on the scale, right, they can spend down. You can't spend up. A PAC can spend on anything they want, really, kind of essentially, but you can't spend up in campaign money. So if you give campaign funds to like your local councilman, they can't spend up to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris can spend down to those other candidates. Now, what this means very clearly is that Kamala Harris is very comfortable in some of these states. I mean, fuck, they're doing a goddamn bus tour in Florida. The Harris Walls bus drove past Mar-a-Lago. They drove the bus past Mar-a-Lago. That's hilarious. Epic troll of Donald Trump driving past Mar-a-Lago. But they're playing in Florida. And she's got enough money and enough gumption to give $20 million to down ballot races. And the one reason why is because she really needs to secure a U.S. House. She needs to make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House. She also is in tight races to have a Senate. And the Republicans are getting more worried and worried by the second. Because the Trump tax cuts are expiring, folks. That's right. It is likely that the next president of the United States will pick maybe 1, 2, possibly 3 Supreme Court justices. It is possible. If the Democrats control enough seats in the Senate, they could actually get rid of the filibuster. The filibuster, a historical check on power, a historical check on party in this country, a historical check on ideology is outdated. It no longer is being used for its intended purposes. The Republican Party is bastardized. The filibuster. And it's made it to where the minority ideology in this country reigns. In particular, in the third branch of government, the courts. And the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court. And with tax policy on the table, with Supreme Court justice and those picks, and rather we can pack those courts on the table, Republicans are getting scared. They're starting to regret nominating Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. They're starting to regret going balls deep into a Nazi manifesto, stop Trump's Project 2025. Because now the country has seen the Republicans for who they are. And Trump helped in that effort. Because he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. He doesn't know when to stop talking. He doesn't know when to stop flip-flopping. He doesn't know when to go away. He has put them in this position. He has put us in this position, which is a unique position. And I know as dire as it feels, right? As dire as it feels with women's pregnancies being criminalized in red states, porn being banned, women's health care, limiting their access to health care, demonizing the LGBTQ community to the fact of just dressing a certain way or having a certain hair color. I don't know. You can't love who you want to love. Are you fucking serious? Forcing people to read the 10 Commandments and learn the Bible in schools. All that freedom, all that liberty is at stake. And Project 2025 is not only the furtherance of that, but it is the roadmap to turn our nation and our Constitution into a Nazi regime, a fascist American regime. Dictator on day one.
Except for day one.
So our unique position here is we're on offense. We're on offense. And we need to play like we're on offense. We need to play like we have the ball. And we're marching down the field. I don't care how many points we run up. I don't care how close we are to the mercy rule. We run that bitch up. All gas, no fucking brakes. Now's the time. Because we're in a unique position to not only send a message to fucking Donald Trump, but to send a message to MAGA and to send a message to the Republican Party that it's over for you. If you're going to go along to get along in this country, your ideology and your party platforms are going to have to change. If you want to have any sort of say.
Doyle rules.
And that's the unique position that we're in right now in this moment. So again, I want to ask you the question. And this is the question that you must be asking yourself, your friends, your family, as you're encouraging them to check their registration. If they're not registered, encouraging them to register to vote and making sure they get out on election day and have their voice heard is, do you trust Donald Trump? Do you trust him? That's the question. We're going to get the answer in November. As we get closer and closer and closer, day by day, hour by hour, the paradigm shift that I've been speaking of is going to come more and more into focus. I believe that the MAGA Kool-Aid moment is on the horizon. It's kind of funny, though. Yeah, I was thinking about this last night. You know, like which cult in the past resembles MAGA, right? Like which one is it close to? Because you want to really go, you want to go to Jonestown, right?
Oh, yeah.
With the Kool-Aid, right? That's the one. That's the one. That's the one you think of. I actually think it's the Branch Davidians. I think that one's much more MAGA Trumpian-like, right? Where they really thought that David Koresh was a god, the god, and he spoke to him directly. You know, they got to that situation. They armed themselves. They're ready to fight, ready to kill, ready to get violent against anyone who would perpetrate them. Let's just hope it doesn't end up in a fiery mess. Their Kool-Aid moment. MAGA's Kool-Aid moment. We need an off-ramp here for them. We really do. And I'm not sure what that off-ramp is. I'm not sure what that off-ramp looks like. But ask the question, do you trust Donald Trump. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.